Welcome to our next section, the wisdom literature. So, we're writing out the week. The intro on it was yesterday, but here on Friday, we're going to tackle a lighthearted book, the Book of Job. That was sarcasm. The shirt, by the way, a nice maroon. This is actually a shirt from my seminary days. Lived in Theological Seminary of Gettysburg. Fear the maroon and white, as Bishop Eaton once said. Before Luther Bowl. Anyway, it's a place of wisdom. So I thought this would be good. Wisdom. Anyway, so, Job. Right, that's what we're talking about. Job is a fascinating book, right? It starts with this divine bet, if you will. And Job loses everything. Now, this is an interesting point. What is the point of the book of Job? I believe, and the people far smarter than me and greater theological minds than I that I have read, surmise the book of Job is about bad things happen to good people. Okay? And what should we do? What is the wisdom? Is there wisdom in suffering? And what should we do as people of faith when bad things happen to good people? Maybe we're the good person it's happening to, right? Because there was this prevailing theological construct that Jesus goes after repeatedly in the Gospels, that if something bad happened to you, it was your fault, and God was punishing you, right? So, in a way, it became a divine victim blaming, if you will, right? Oh, well, this is they deserve this. They must have done something terrible. Too bad. They seem like such a nice guy. Right? Jesus talks about in the New Testament, the Tower of Siloam fell on a bunch of believers. Did you think that they were worse sinners than you? Well, the rhetorical people are like, yeah. No. They weren't any worse than you. The tower just fell over. Bad things happen to good people. Right? It's not a matter of who deserved what sometimes. The world is broken. Sinful place. Bad things happen. Things that we don't understand. Say the book of Job gets a lot of flack, but I actually find its wisdom to be quite profound. I think of something like when Sandy Hook happened. Do those kids deserve to die? Absolutely not. Bad things happen to good kids. And it's not, this narrative device of the divine bet, if you will. It's not meant to be taken literally. This is a literature form. It's meant to be almost like a parable, kind of, right? Job was not actually a real person, Job and his friends. Rather, it's a story meant to teach us about the wisdom of this situation. So yes, in the story, this is the key foil. If we just jump around, we miss the heart of it. Job has these friends that he's talking with, right? And his friends kind of have this mentality of, ooh, Job, you lost your spouse, your kids, your land, you're sick, you're disgusting, by the way, it boils and stuff. What did you do? Right? That's the first question. Then is, you must have done something. Repent, right? Throw yourself the mercies of God, you horrible person. Right? They're making these assumptions. Meanwhile, Job continuously maintains his innocence. In fact, he continues to say, I worship a God that wouldn't do these things. I worship a God that can save me from this. They can bring me back even from these horrible things that have happened. And we continue this back and forth. It's really sneaky in a story form, a theological debate happening before our eyes. Is Job at fault, or do bad things happen to good people? And what should he do? Should he repent for something he didn't do? Should he assume guilt automatically? Right? And it's interesting, we continue this conversation, and then God gets involved. God's the final debator, if you will. Right? Job wants answers. Job has repeatedly been saying, I call upon God to answer what's happening. I worship a God that's better than this. God has done so much. God can continue to conquer this, right? And so God eventually answers. But it's not necessarily the answer that Job was expecting. This is where the wisdom really gets deep here. Okay, when Job he lays out his case against God. How could you let these things happen? I didn't deserve this. How could you let bad things happen to good people? These are theological questions that everyone has, right? Why did this have to happen, God? It's the question that Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha, asked Jesus when he gets to the tomb, right? Why'd you let this happen? And God's answer is not the most satisfying to a lot, actually. God asked Job, Job, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Well, tell me, when I created the Leviathan, the whale, all these creatures, what were you doing? Right? I'm sorry, when I, the divine sovereign, make everything come into existence and foresaw, all these things to come, and being active and helping and all these things. What were you doing? Right? God kind of plays you see little bits. You see a single parts of lives. You know nothing. I don't think God just goes as far as to say, how dare you, but God puts Job in his place. Right? There's so many more pieces that you can possibly understand. You're dealing with one puzzle piece, I'm dealing with the whole puzzle. Right? You're dealing with your life, I'm dealing with everyone's life. Not just right now, all the time. But yeah, you're right, you should question me, God says. But that's the thing. This is the part, see, everyone walks away at this point. Oh, well, that's the end. No, that's not the end. There's still more to read. At the very end of Job, God goes into this talking and saying, you know what? I've given my answer. He helps restore Job, by the way, to health, family, life, everything. Right? There is new life in God, but Job did previously have his famous statement of, I know my Redeemer lives, and that is fulfilled. But even more so, God has this great line. This great line. He turns, speaking to everybody, so to speak, the readers, the audience, the debaters, if you will, that is taking place. And God says, my servant Job has spoken right of me. All these arguments that Job has been making, some have considered whiny, that some have considered wrong. No, God says, no. Job had it right. Job should be calling me out. Job should be invoking everything that I've done, the promises that I've made, and saying, hey, you're not living up to them. God says Job was right to bring these things. That in the height of his despair and suffering, he was right to call upon God's name, to invite God into that conversation. In fact, God says, wrong are your friends. I did not commit this wrath. I am not punishing or vengeful. Right? This is Old Testament God we're talking about. Job has spoken well, maybe your friends have not. This is the theological debate. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. And it's not God divinely punishing someone. Sometimes the life just stinks. The world just stinks. That's part of the brokenness of the world we live in. And so how do as people of faith do we respond? What's the wisdom that we're responding to in this book, right? There's more, by the way. This is a very long book, so I'm trying to summarize quickly. Maybe I'm not doing too quickly. But how do we respond to suffering? Maybe instead of picking someone apart and blaming them, maybe we should help them. Maybe we too should call upon God. Answer prayers. Pray. Live out our faith, right? We should follow Job's example. Bring God into the conversation right away. Bring the God's faithful into the conversation right away. Be the friend that Job never had. That's wisdom. So I invite you to check out this book. We'll continue next week with wisdom. This was more than enough to chew on all weekend long. Have a good one.